Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my Shadowlands Retribution Paladin guide. Finally, it is being made. This video is going to be a little bit long, but it is for the people that want to learn. So if you want to learn about Red Paladins, stick around. Alright, let's go over the races. For the Horde, Tauren is probably the best right now because of the 2-second stun war stomp, critical strike on damage and healing increased by 2%, and the 72 stamina, giving you a bigger health pool, a little bit more damage, and you can pick flowers faster so you could give it to your beautiful wives. You can also play Blood Elf, Zandalari, but again, I tried all the races. I think Tauren is the best. Blood Elves are useful. You can make plays, removing abilities, and kicking people, or removing combust on burst. Anything that is dispellable is really good, but the chances are kinda low. Again, just to be clear, you can reach glad level with any races, so it's not a big thing, but if you want to min-max, I think for the Horde side, Taurens are the best. For the Alliance side, you can play Human, obviously for every man for himself. Having that ability, you can combo with Adaptation, or Relentless Trinket, or having double DPS trinkets. Dark Iron Dwarf is also a choice. Fire Blood removes all poison, disease, curse, magic, and bleed effects, then increasing your primary stat. But that's not the best part. It is the fact that you can remove Mind Game from Shadow Priest. It's a huge counter to Ret, and this kind of saves you from that death position. Stat Prios. Let's go over Stat Prio. So here's the thing. You want to have a verse on every single gear if possible. And then it comes to your choice. Some people like to have 15 haste or go straight forward to mastery. For me, I capped on versatility and now I'm going for mastery. If you have more haste, it feels better on the global cooldowns. But I kind of got used to slow global cooldowns and I'm taking more damage for bigger setups. So this is up to you. If you want to go verse mastery or verse haste. I like verse mastery right now, but if you want to have less of a clunky global cooldown, get 15% haste and then mastery. Alright, now on to the talent. These two are very nerfed in the arena. It's still playable, you could play them, but I think Zeo works the finest for now. Second choice, no doubt, Blade of Wrath. The proc giving you 2 holy power is just too beneficial. Third row, depending on what you play, you could change things up, but for the most part, Fist of Justice works great. All of them work though, depending on what you play. For the fourth talent row, Unbreakable Spirit for the lower cooldown on Divine Shield and Shield of Vengeance. And the other talent you would play is Eye for an Eye. If you fight against Warriors, Enhanced Shamans, Retribution Paladin, especially in 3v3, if there's 2 melees, you always take Eye for an Eye. If not, Unbreakable Spirit. Cavalier does come in handy, but I don't really use this much. For the level 40 talent, Seraphim is probably the best right here. Divine Purpose is also good, but I would probably pick Divine Purpose if I'm trying to live longer. The procs, you wouldn't use it for damage, you would use it for healing. So this is more of a survival build. If you want to do more damage, you take Seraphim. Holy Avenger is very good, but the 3-minute cooldown is just too clunky. If it was 2-minute, I think you would see more people using it. So Seraphim is the best. You can also combo it with the burst damage I'll show you later. For the 45 talent row, no doubt Healing Hands is the best. Even though Ward of Glory is increased by 70% in Arena, and Ward of Glory is nerfed by 20%, it's still very, very good in PvP. If you go into deep dampening, it will heal less, but if you're not in dampening, you will get some nice juicy healing with a combination of wings or crit. For the last row, you have 2 choices. You can play with Sanctified Wrath or Final Reckoning. A lot of people play with Sanctified Wrath because it got buffed by 50% before the release of Shadowlands. It does a lot of damage, your wing gets longer. If you play with Final Reckoning, it's more of a bursty shot. I'm also going with a lot of mastery, so this lines up pretty well with the burst for me. I'm going to be honest, both of these talents work very, very well. Just play whichever you favor. If you're playing a CC oriented comp, Final Reckoning might be better. For Sanctified Wrath will AoE and break some of the CCs. For the PvP talent row, this is my go-to talent choices for RBG. For the most part, you always want to keep Auto Reckoning, for it gives you a free wing and a big melee swing. Vengeance Aura whenever there's a lot of CC going on, especially when I fight Shadow Priests, I always take Vengeance Aura, for they have stun, silence, fear, and then their partners can do CC as well. Every time you get into a full loss of control, you get critical strike damage increase, and it stacks up to 4 times. This is what makes Reds do huge damage. Probably all the Twitch clips or YouTube clips that's going around, you might see Vengeance Aura stacking up. Lawbringer is also powerful because of Divine Toll, and it adds up together. And finally, this is the normal talents that I would run most of the 3v3 games. Now, if you play a comp that has no slows available, you would want to take Law and Order. For every Blade of Justice, it gives you a slow. Our slow is on a 30-second cooldown, and this could become a problem if your comp that you run does not have a slow. When would you use Unbound Freedom? If you're fighting mages, warlocks, shamans, and you have a problem getting to the target, especially if you're playing Red Warrior with the R Shaman, you would probably want to take Unbound Freedom so you can freedom your partner and yourself at the same time. If you're playing with the Paladin healer, the Paladin healer could freedom the warrior, and you could freedom yourself, and you could take more damaging honor talents. So when your comp really needs to double freedom, that's when you take it. So if you want to do a lot of damage, Auto Reckoning and Vengeance Aura. Blessing of Sank, it depends on what you fight. I pretty much take this most of the games, like 90% of the games. And you use this ability to remove all stun, silent, fear, and horror effects. It's just a savior for the healers. They will love you if you use this well. Other talent I like to mention is Divine Punisher. I could use this in a 2v2 match where if I want to live longer, because I get more holy power if I judgment the same target, and that equals to more Ward of Glories. Another talent is Jurisdiction. If you're having a hard time reaching the stun on the heal or the kill target, you could take Jurisdiction. But make sure you guys are cross CCing with the stun as well. Cross CC meaning you stun the healer and your other partner stuns the kill target. So having double stun. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment below, and I will try to explain it back to you if you're having troubles. For Covenant, obviously I am a Kyrian. The Divine Toll is just too good. Not only does it have the damage, but combat meditation is what makes it really good. Whenever we use Divine Toll, you gain a mastery buff, giving you 350 mastery. It is a huge boost, and if you add that with Seraphim, you just do so much damage. So a lot of the Reds don't really rely on Ringing Clarity to do the kill. It's mostly using Divine Toll to get this buff, and we do a bigger combination of damage. Ventir, Ashen Hollow works as well, but it being a 4-minute cooldown is just too long, and it's hard to rely on a long CD ability. Night Fae Reds work as well. The mobility is huge, and the blessings come in handy. I honestly want to play Night Fae more, but this mastery buff is just too big. Keep in mind though, you can probably reach Glad with any of the Covenants. So if you truly want to be a Night Fae or Ventir, you can play as that. If you want to min-max, Kyrian is the best. For Conduits, I'm using Templar's Vindication, Shielding Wards, Ringing Clarity, and Echoing Blessing. If you want to play more defensively, you play Loyal Decree. Every time you turn into Ancient King, you get to use Ward of Glory for free. I'll get into that later with the Legendary. If you're fighting Locks or Priests and you don't want to deal with the fear effects, you can also use Concentration Aura, reducing the incoming fear effects. This is not huge, and I most likely tend to keep on Templar Vindication for more damage or Royal Decree. I say this is the safest bet though, since it gives you another chance to live and survive. Shielding Ward, I use this all the time. Every time you Ward of Glory, you get a bigger shield. Ringing Clarity is the Divine Toll. It gives you 56% chance to cast additional 3 times. It can also do 2 times and 1 time. It's not 3 times all the time. The last conduit I'm using is Echoing Blessing. Blessing of Freedom increases the target movement speed by 7%. Blessing of Protection and Blessing of Sacrifice reduces the target damage taken by 7%. The 7% negative is what we really take it for. But if you don't really like this, you can also use Divine Call, which reduces Divine Shield cooldown. And that is the Conduit. This is probably what I use most of the matches. The other two, Kelia and this Owl person, they're not too good because you do not get this 350 mastery. This is just too big to give up. Legendary. Alright, this is one of the most asked questions, the biggest topic probably. I'll give you 4 choices. You can play with Final Verdict, you can play with Mad Paragon, you can use Savix, and lastly, Reign of the Endless King. I'd honestly say any legendary works in the arena, and one of my favorite is the Final Verdict. It gives you a ranged Templar Verdict. You can also use Templar Verdict when you're disarmed, and it gives you a chance to throw Hammer of Wrath. It is very fun to use and very satisfying. And then we have Savix if you want to be safe, and if you want to be extra safe, I think Reign of the Endless King is the best. I was really against the prop Paladin Lego. I made tweets about it saying Reds shouldn't be allowed to use, but if you play in the higher ups, almost every Red Paladins use this, or even Holy Paladins, and if you don't use this, you kind of put yourself into a disadvantage. So if you want to min-max, Reign of the Endless King is good. You just want to have fun, Final Verdict is fun. Or you can go with Mad Paragon. Mad Paragon giving you 30% more increased damage, and it extends the Avenging Wrath by 1 second each time you use. A lot of the players started out with Savix, but I think all the players that use Savix swapped over to the Reign of Endless King. So what is so good about the Endless King? When you drop below 20%, you become the Guardian of Ancient King for 4 seconds. That is not the part that makes this so good. It's the Conduit that makes it good. When you go into the Ancient King, you get to use a Ward of Glory for free, costing no holy power. Just 1, but that 1 will save your life, because when you dip low, you get that Reign of King and the free Ward of Glory, which will probably heal you tons because of Healing Hand. The lower you are, the more healing you do, correct? And with the fast-paced meta, and almost every game we lose bubble instantly, this will kind of let you avoid losing that bubble quickly. So for legendary, if you want to use damage, use Mad Paragon or Final Verdict. Read it over, see what you like. For defensive legendary, Reign of the Endless King is probably the top tier. Alright, we're at the last part, which is the rotation. I think I'll go with the general burst rotation, since I'm going to assume that you guys know the organic Red Paladin rotation, where you get 3 holy power to do Templar Verdict. One thing I will say though is, before you do your finishing move, which is the Templar Verdict, make sure you apply Judgment and then Templar Verdict, because I see some gameplays where Reds just use Templar Verdict with 3 holy power, but Judgment gives you 25% increased damage taken from my holy power ability. So if I do Judgment and then Templar Verdict, it will do bigger damage than it normally would without Judgment applied. So if I could go over my basic burst rotation, it's going to be Judgment from far away. It's the farthest ability. The second farthest ability is Blade of Justice, gives you 2. So now you have 3 holy power. Once you get close to the enemy, you can press Seraphim, Wings, and then Trinket, and then Divine Toll into a Final Reckoning, into a Templar Verdict, because you have that Judgment applied from Divine Toll. And the reason why I did Divine Toll before Final Reckoning, a lot of people ask, you get that 350 mastery, so you do more damage with Final Reckoning, and you do more damage with the Templar Verdict. After that, you would do Wake of Ash, Judgment, and Templar Verdict. So again, it's going to be Judgment, Blood of Justice, 3 holy power. You use Seraphim with the 3 holy power you have. Then you use Wings, Trinket, Divine Toll for 3 holy power once again. Final Reckoning, and then Templar's Verdict. So that is the new burst rotation. Also, one more tip, if you're fighting against really bursty comps such as RMP, Rogue Mage, or Turbo, you can use the Battle Master Trinket, which gives you 15k health. And then you could use Battle Master into Wall, giving you bigger shield, or Battle Master Potion, giving you bigger potion heals. And I think that's it for the red guide. Pretty much covered everything. Hopefully everything made sense. If you have questions about add-on, macros, keybinds, I have a separate video of that if you want to check that out. I give out literally all my macros, all the dual abilities I have. This is like healing, this is Navic of Ash, and this is number 4 is Divine Storm. This is my party 1, 2, 3 Word of Glory. Everything has a macro to it, so if you want to check that out, you could go ahead and watch that. Hopefully you guys find this video helpful, and if you want to run down for some arenas, I'll put some videos on the left side where I do commentaries on how to play the comp. If this video helped, please leave a like. If you have any question, leave it in the comment, and be sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.